Gendra. Actually, he and I sort of sat around for a couple of years mulling over this idea, and then we decided to bring Ted in to help us because we knew Ted, and he has helped us operationalize our vision. But our vision is linked to previous work that Access Alliance did. I don't know how much you know about the organization, but Access Alliance works primarily with immigrants and refugees and other communities facing barriers, and we attempt to be as responsive as possible to needs and issues that are identified through our own research and through other sources of information. Many years ago, we were aware of the fact that there were many, many internationally educated social workers that were facing tremendous barriers getting into their field. And we started a similar initiative of developing a peer support network, which functioned for a couple of years. We did some research, we did professional development. I mean, we didn't create a website, we were a bit more not so techno savvy then. But we did create, you know, people came together and support each other and talk. And then over time, we got funding, and we're one of the founders with Ryerson of the Internationally Educated Social Workers Bridging Program. And that program is very, very successful today, and Ryerson, in fact, is a center of excellence for bridging programs. So, you know, and that's an example of systems change. It takes years, and it's baby steps. So my comment today to sort of wrap us up are, this is all about baby steps, but it's Access Alliance continuing to try to you know, do this work that we think is so important, working with newcomer communities to help you leverage your expertise and all of the capacity that you bring. And so I want to talk first about the website, which I think is a huge opportunity, because the website, the community of practice is you, where you have an opportunity to get support but also provide support. It's a two-way street. To really use your skills, your expertise, to support each other, to share information. You know, we want to do professional development. You can be part of that professional development. What are your areas of expertise? What is your experience? How can you share that? You know, it's not only like Canadian-based educators and academics that we want to have do webinars and blogging. It's you, because that's the way that you can also profile yourself. You can workshop ideas. You can refine. You know, as Ted said, we don't like to talk about it sometimes, but the reality is that Canadian, you know, you gotta fit in. What are the norms in research? What are the realities? This community of practice is, you can really make that a very active place to support you, because yeah, we have all these visions of systems change. Systems change takes a long time. I mean, I've been working in the not-for-profit sector in systems change focus organizations for over 35 years. And I can tell you, it happens, but it takes a lot of time, and it's baby steps. So as we're working there to make that, here, we want to support you to get into your field, to find opportunities, and to, you know, leverage all of that skills and capacity that you bring. Again, though, I want to manage expectations. You know, we have 2 fellowships a year. So fellowships is not a huge opportunity. You know what I mean? It's a tiny little example of work we want to do. And systems change also. Like, yes, we're going to publish this research. It's not going to lead to change right away, but it's going to give us data that when we sit at policy tables, when we talk to employers, we can say, hey, we know this is the truth. Come on, smarten up. What are you doing about this? Think about this. So, you know, that's the objective of the network, that's the objective of the website, building this community of practice. And that's for you to tell us, to direct us, to lead us, because it's about you. The whole piece about social, you know, how to leverage yourself on the social, I love that, because you know what it made me think? It's, you know, so often we define, you know, in your case, or in my, you know, you define yourself in terms of like barriers, you know, I'm internationally educated, nobody, you know, my experience, my education, it's not acknowledged. It's actually the way they presented it, which I thought was so creative and exciting, was it's not about that. Put that aside. Who are you? Who are you? You know, who's the authentic you? Be creative. Get excited about thinking about that. Workshop it. Don't just put something crazy out on Twitter right away. Like even my Twitter profile, I thought about it for a long time, and it's very bland. And actually, I'm thinking about it, I
That's
think I'm
good
gonna
you
change
thought
it.
about it.
I said something like postmenopausal mom, and I thought, yeah, maybe I gotta change that. I think I was having a hot flash at that moment or something. So, but you know what? I think that's exciting. And LinkedIn too, like, you know, your question about what do you do about gaps? Actually use LinkedIn, and I wanna say, you don't have to, like Boyd, you know, he probably tweets several times a day. Okay, I tweet maybe 3 times a week, and sometimes I just retweet. So you don't have to, you know, don't make yourself crazy, but start, get out there. I would say LinkedIn is a very important platform. It's a professional platform, because your feed, as you start getting connected to people, it's actually a place to learn. There's articles, there's information about events, there's information about seminars, there's information about jobs. You can write stuff, you can have conversations. It's a very, very great place to be. And you know, my final word is networking. Network, network, network. And I say this honestly, all of my colleagues and peers, I mean, to greater or lesser degree, if you're on LinkedIn, it's because you understand that networking is an integral part of it. So if people reach out to me, that's why I'm on LinkedIn. Now, sometimes I get LinkedIn requests, I don't say yes. Like, we have an interpretation program. There's 1,000 interpreters in Toronto. I've done training, they all want on LinkedIn. I don't, because I can't, you know, 1,000 interpreters, not gonna, it's too much, it's crazy. But, you know, you can, it can be, I'm open, everybody's open, and you're open too, because you also then can be a resource for the next person who comes up. Hey, I saw your profile. I saw you went to this workshop, you know. So use it, get out there, it's slow. And the last thing I'm gonna say is, stuff happens. I have a staff person at Access Alliance. He was on LinkedIn, he sent me a request, I saw that he worked in another organization, I accepted it, and he sent me a message saying, I'd love to work at Access Alliance, I think the work you do is great. I said, well, you know, whatever, great, that's nice, keep your eyes open if jobs come up. A few months later, but that name was in my head, job came up. He sent me a LinkedIn message saying, look no further, I'm your man. I was like, it made me laugh, right? It made me laugh. I looked, and then I went and I said, okay, who's this funny guy who thinks I'm just gonna hire him like that? I went and I looked at his profile, and okay, interesting, like, okay. So I answered, well, you know, you gotta apply through the normal hiring process like everybody else. He applied, his name was in my head, his resume did come up, he was qualified, he ended up being hired. And he, you know, he's our director of community programs now. So it happens, like, and so that's just one example, but the same with research opportunities, or, you know, all of these different sectors, and that's what we want to do, is try to create these spaces for you to drive this process. So, you know, thanks so much. I'm always happy to come and blah, blah, blah at the end, because I think on her slide I'm an extrovert, I think, right? I like talking.
Yeah, you're
I suck up the air in the room. So anyhow, I want to see you next time, and next time, once we launch the website, get on there, let's make it a community of practice, and this will be as successful as you want it to be.
And I want you all to monitor the website and get involved in any way that is appropriate, and I want you all to also bring or invite one new person to the next meeting, which you'll get the information about, but we're probably talking about mid-June. Mid-June and then in October. Thank you.
Thank you.